computer will output you with that of the program, a model, or a set of rules like that. That is said to be that of the machine learning. That is, you are making the computer to learn by learn whatever the input and output we are giving. Okay, so traditional program takes the data and rules as the input, whereas the machine learning machine learning data and the output are given as the input, and it comes up with the rules or patterns or models that it sees in the input. That is, there I have told you in the first slide itself. The each data there is a hidden information, that is some patterns it will be present. So that will be that pattern will be taken as given as the hidden pattern in the data will be given as the output here. Okay, given as a program, and that can be utilized for predicting the that is, this is with the known data you are doing. So if unknown data if you give also, this program will be able to predict and give you the output. That is said to be the machine learning, right? So this is the difference between the traditional computer programming and that of the machine learning algorithm. The next one is the generic machine learning. What are the parts present in that? That is, what are the workflow? How the workflow is there in that of the machine learning algorithm? So we are having a training data. This training data will be the train. That is, it will be taken from that some data sets, and this training data will contain the data as well as its labels. I will say what about the labels later. Anyway, this training data will have the it is this one, the data as well as the output together. Actually, the output is said to be that of the label. So the training data as well as the labels will be present in the training data. This will be given to that of the training, and this that is after this is done after training. You will get a trained model. Actually, this will be the computer. You can say from that the computer will predict you with that of the prediction model. Right, this will be the computer. The training will be carried out here, and it will give you a prediction model. And this predicted model, you are giving the input data, and you are getting the result. Okay. Now there are two phases here. First phases is of the training. Second one is the testing. What is the training? Actually, this part, this training data, training, ML trained model as well as this prediction. If you draw a line like this, so this is the first phase. You are training the computer, you are training the machine. Okay, you are training the model, and the output of that will be, it will give a predicted output or predicted model. It will give you, right? So keeping this model in hand, you will giving the another set of input data, and you will get the result from here. Another set of input. Actually, this is said to be the testing. Always in a machine learning, there will be a training phase as well as a testing phase. So the training phase is this one. You are giving the training data to that of the computer. It will act upon that. That is, it will find the information which is present in that of the training data, and it will give the prediction model. The prediction model you keep like this, and you will give the another set of input data. Actually, the first phase is said to be that of the training phase. The second phase, this phase, this part. This is said to be that of testing phase. This is done with that of the entirely input data, and it is given to that as a prediction model, and it will give the output for, right? So in this one, you can see that this actually this one, this input data, prediction and result, this is similar to that of the traditional computer program. You are giving the input data and you are getting the output, right? But this one, it is entirely a new term, new thing, which is not present in that of the traditional program. So you are training the machine or training the computer, training the model for getting the prediction. So these two combined together, it will give incredibly good results. So we are going for this machine learning algorithm, right? Now the steps, there are major 7 steps in the machine learning algorithm. So first one is the gathering the data. Second step is preparing the data. Third one, choosing a model. Fourth, training the model, then evaluating the model, then hyperparameter tuning, finally the prediction model you will get. So all these steps, the major steps in the machine learning algorithm. So you will explore each step one by one, right? So each step should be, it will be the different types and different things has to be, it will be explored today. So here, the data type from the machine learning perspective. That is, we can say that the data, first one, you see the first is two steps, you are gathering data, and so without data, there is no machine learning algorithm. So the data is a very prerequisite for a machine learning algorithm, and the data, again, you can say the data is an oil for the machine learning algorithm. Okay, without data, nothing can be done. So this, what are the types of data from the machine learning perspective? We have numerical data, categorical data, time series data, as well as text data. What are they, you see? So numerical data, the numerical data, you have two types, continuous as well as discrete. Continuous in the sense height, weight, salary, temperature, interest rate, all these things comes under the continuous. Whereas the number of languages spoken, number of students in a class, number of units sold, that all these things come under the discrete data. So this numerical data under this two, continuous as well as discrete. Next one is the categorical data. And categorical data, which will say whether it is good, bad, or advanced, intermediate, beginner. So that is said to be the categorical data, right? Then another one is the time series data. The time series data, it will be taken throughout the year or 2 years, 3 years. That is monthly income, rainfall in a particular place, temperature in a particular place, which is taken throughout from one time to that of the other time. That is ranging for a particular period of time. That is said to be that of the time series data. Then text data. The text data is one which you are using in the WhatsApp, Facebook, all those things that will be that of the text data. These are the types of data from the machine learning perspective, right? Now this data could be represented, these are the data I told, whatever may be the data, it has two components. So there will be a label as well as the feature. Okay, now I will clarify here what is this data, what I am saying this data. No? For example, you take what is the data set and what is the data point. What is the data set? For example, if you are one example you take, that is if you are trying to sell or trying to purchase a house in a particular area in Nagarkoil, right? So there are 100 houses there. So the 100 houses together, it is said to be that of the data set. So house number 1, house number 2, house number 3, house number 4, like that. So this house number 1 is a data point. House number 2 is the another one data point, right? So data set is the cluster of data. That is a group of data. A group of data points, it is the data set, and each point there, that is there are 100 houses, means that is the 100 information about the 100 houses, that is the data set, and data point is said to be the a single house there is said to be that of the data point. So this data, each data will have two components, a label as well as a feature. Now you take the house example, data set example itself. For example, you are pointing out, that is you are considering the house number 10. In the you are having 100 number of houses and you are considering the house number 10. The house number 10, I have told you there is a label as well as a feature, right? What is the label and what will be the feature? So the price of that house number 10 will be the label. Then what about this feature? The number, that is the attribute of that house, like that. That is how many, the price will be decided by something, some features, isn't it? The price of the house, it will be decided by some features. So if it is, it may be the number of bedrooms in the house, or number of that is the area or the square feet area of the house. As otherwise, it will be a distance from a school, like that. So that are said to be that of the features. Okay, so we'll whatever the each data point will be represented by the feature as well as that of the label. The feature it is represented by X and the label it is represented by Y, right? So in short, you can say label is that what we are trying to predict. That is what we are interested in. That is the example which I have told. We are trying to predict the price of the house in a particular locality, right? So the price that is said to be that of the that is we are trying to predict, and that will become the label. That is y variable in the simple linear regression. And what about the feature? Feature is an input variable. That is, it is depends upon the attribute of the data point. So another one example it is given here. You see a set of fruits you have in the a cluster group of fruits you have in a basket where there are some fruits. You have to identify what is that fruit. So here fruit number 1, fruit number 2, fruit number 3, 4, 5, etc. up to fruit number n we have. So these are the features actually: length, width, and the weight of the fruit is said to be these are the features. And the label, it is what is the fruit, banana or orange, like that. Okay, so the length for the fruit number 1, the length is 165 and width is 38 and its weight is 172. So from this that fruit is the banana, right? Next one you see fruit number 3, the length is the orange will be the banana, it will be have a high length will be it will be longer compared to that of the orange, right? For the orange the length will be is 76, whereas for the width you see here, the width is for the fruit number, that is for banana it is 38, whereas for the orange it is 80. And like this there will be a variation depending upon these features. We can find the label also will be varied. That is, this is if this feature is if the length is 165, it will find out to be that of banana, and if it is length is 76 and it is the orange, like that you can make some predictions. Okay, now what I am saying here is, so these are the features. These are said to be the features of the data. Actually, this is the data set. Fruit number 1 to fruit number n, it is the data set. And if fruit number 1 is one data point, fruit number 2 is another one data point, and fruit number 3 is another one data point, like that. And this fruit number 1 has 3 features. This is 165, length 165, width 38, and weight 172, and one label. Always each data point will have only one label, but many number of features. So this can be represented like this. See, again, the mathematical representation for that is, so you are having a set. This is the data point. This is data set. So this is one data point, x1, y1, right? And this y1 is the label and x1 is the feature. So this feature, it will not be a single feature. Instead, it will be a vector. Feature vector will have, right? So here you come, that is fruit number 1. If we consider that fruit number 1 to be x1, its label is y1, right? But what are this one? This x11 is the length. If it represents the feature length, that is 165. x12, it is the width, it is 38. And x1d, it is the weight, 172, like that. Okay. So feature, there can be any number of features for a particular data point, but there will be only one label. That is so the feature is a feature vector, you will say, and this is label is always a scalar quantity, right? So this is the vector representation in ML. The next one, another one example also I have given. So the features may be, or the features what you have seen here are also maybe of two types. One is a categorical feature and the other one is a numerical feature. So these all represents the numerical feature. We have categorical feature also. The categorical feature is, so the color. If you are including another one column as a color, that will be the categorical feature. Color of the fruit 1, that is yellow, and the color of the fruit tree, it is orange. So if you are adding that one here, that will become the categorical feature, right? So an interesting example I am given here for you. So from this, the feature extraction algorithm will take out the features from here. Here there are some 9 features. You can see the wheel, the size of the wheel, the number of spokes in the wheel, the color of the vehicle is another one feature. So apart from the color, that is if you are having a color like that, that is said to be the categorical feature. And just a numerical quantity, it is a numerical feature. So the feature may be either a numerical feature or a categorical feature also you can utilize. But another one problem arises here. The machine learning algorithm only accept numerical quantity. It will not accept any categorical quantity like this, right? It will not accept any categorical quantities like this, green, yellow, red, yellow, like that. It will not accept. So this has to be converted into numerical form. So for that, you can use a mapping like this. Okay, this is another one example I have taken. The categorical data, that is, it is a type of car. You may have a Toyota, Ford, Mercedes, Toyota, Ford, like this. This is one categorical feature. So this is in the text format. Since our machine learning algorithm will not accept the text format, this has to be converted into categorical data. For that, you can provide a mapping like this. So if the Toyota comes, you can give it to be 14. If the Ford comes, you can give it to be 27. And if this Mercedes comes, you can give it to be 18. Like this, some mapping has to be done so that each categorical data or in the text format can be converted into numerical format like this. So whatever it may be, it has, you can use the features can be either of the numerical quantity, numerical feature, or it may be a categorical feature. Even if it is a categorical feature, it has to be converted into numerical feature, right? Numerical format, not numerical feature, nor numerical format. For that, you have to go for the mapping. So in the data, we have seen only one part, that is the feature. So this is what I have told you. That is, the data has 2 components. One is the feature, other one is the label. The feature, it is the attribute of the data point. It is the characteristics of the data point, right? So there are 2 types. How to represent that, we have seen that. Okay, the features is over. Then comes that of the label. Another aspect of the data is the label. So the data, either it may be labeled data or unlabeled data, right? So here this data set what we have seen, this is the labeled data. They are given the fruit ID or fruit number, the length, width, weight. So these are the features, and the label is also given for that. They have identified to be banana, orange, etc. So this is this data set. If you are using this data set for training a model, then that is said to be that of the supervised learning, right? It is a supervised. You are having the features, that is the input, as well as the label means it is the output, you can say. The whole set is the training data. So if you are giving the input as well as the output, and if you are training the model with this data, that is this data set, that is said to be the supervised learning. Learning a model from labeled data, it is the supervised learning. But there are also data without the label, that is only the features are present. So they are said to be the unlabeled data. So this unlabeled data, you can, if you are training a model with this unlabeled data, it is said to be that of the unsupervised learning. Okay, supervised learning and the unsupervised learning. Are you clear about this one? Labeled data and the unlabeled data, right? Next, this is another an example for that. That is very interesting. We are some set of animals, and each one it has been its name has been represented. So your X is also present and Y is also present. So this is the supervised. If you are training the data with this set of data set, it is the supervised learning. And if you are training the data only with this one, it is said to be only with this, that is without any label, just this one, it is said to be that of the unsupervised learning. Now, next is the machine learning problems can be classified depending upon the that is data label, right? The machine learning, there are many machine learning algorithms. Mainly, the machine learning algorithms will be classified depending upon the data label, right? So that is, if a machine learning algorithm, if if it is a labeled data, there will be a supervised learning. So if for the labeled data, the supervised learning will have the classification problem as well as a regression problem, right? If it is unlabeled data, the learning is called unsupervised learning, and it is said to be that of the problem is a clustering problem, right? So the learning, what I am saying is the first slide or second slide, I have mentioned that you are training the machine now. That is training, the name here given as the learning, right? You are going to train the, or you are make the machine to learn by this. That is, either you can go for the supervised learning or the unsupervised. If the data set is the labeled one, you go for supervised learning, and the machine learning algorithm arises by means of the supervised learning is a regression problem as well as the classification problem. In unsupervised, if the data set is unlabeled, you go for unsupervised learning, and the problem arising, machine learning problem arising from that is the clustering, right? So here also the supervised learning two types. How, when will this regression occur, and when will this classification occur? So when the labeled data, this is for the labeled data. So if the labeled data is a continuous quantity, the problem will be a regression problem, and if the labeled data is a discrete quantity, the problem will be of the classification problem, right? So this is a very important point. So here we are not concerned with that of the clustering. We are going to see, we will concentrate only about the regression as well as classification problem. We have to take into consideration only about the regression as well as the classification problem. Okay. So if the label is a continuous quantity, it is a regression problem, and if the label is a this one discrete quantity, this is a classification problem, right? Okay. The categories of the same one I have given in a pictorial form, right? So for the regression, we have supervised, it is a supervised learning, and the output is a continuous, that is the label is a continuous quantity. So mainly the main application of regression is to forecast or predict, weather forecast, prediction, stock market prediction, like that. That is, if you are want to predict something that is in future, what will be this one, like that. That for that, if you are the rainfall in a particular region, for this forecasting problem and prediction problem, this regression will be used. So algorithm used here is the linear regression algorithm. Okay. The next one is a classification. Here also you are using the supervised learning, and the output is a category. The label, not the output. If the label is a categorical quantity, the categorical quantity, it means it will be one, that is 0, 1, 2, like that. It will be a categorical quantity, right? The main aim is to compute the category of the data, right? The main aim is to compute the category of the categorical quantity means it is not 0, 1 like that. It will be either present. For example, if you are considering a tumor, the tumor is a cancerous tumor or not, like that. Whether it is cancerous or not. Otherwise, if you are considering the this one email in your mail, whether it is a spam, whether it has to be put into that of the classify the emails as well as the spam or the non-spam, right? Spam will be put into that of the spam folder, and non-spam it will be in your inbox, right? So for this, like just for the classification, just for classifying, you are using the classification problem. The algorithm used is the logistic regression. And clustering, it arises from the unsupervised learning. This is assigns the data point into clusters. Main aim is to group the similar items of clusters, find all the transactions which are fraudulent in nature. Actually, the algorithm is k-means. Here I will say, what is the first of all, you shall see the regression. The regression, you are using the linear regression. When you are using, it will it will produce a line, and the distance of actually these are the data points, right? These maroon color, no, that is red color. These are the data points, and this is the regression line. And our in this linear regression algorithm, our aim is to find out this line, right? You are building a model means you are trying to find out this line with the what is the slope of that line, like that. So if this passes through near to that of the these prediction points, then if the prediction will be good, like that, right? Our aim is to just to find out this line, and the slope of this line has to be found. Okay. In classification problem, you have two classes. In this example, I have told you, either it is you are getting a group of email. This group of email that is said to be that of the data set, right? Whether it is a spam or it is a non-spam, you have to classify it. So one folder, one group or one class, you will have it of the spam folder. Other one will be of the non-spam folder. So each data point, each email you give, and if it is a spam, it will be sent here. If it is a non-spam, it will be sent to that of the green, like that. So just a classification. So a classifier will do that. Just you are taking a basket and you are separating something that is depending upon the color, you are making into putting into different baskets. No, a group of marbles you have, depending upon the size or depending upon the color, you may are segregating into two classes. No, similar to that. Now this one, classification and clustering, looks together, looks the same, looks similar, but there is a difference between these two. Here we are specifying as two class. This is the spam folder, this is the non-spam folder we are specifying. But here no such specification will be given. The data points, they will itself arrange themselves into different clusters. They will see to that of the attributes, or they will see into that of the features, and they will arrange themselves into different clusters. Clustering. You are not here. You are giving this is one class, two class, like that you are giving. Class one, positive class, negative class, like this you are giving. But in clustering, you are not at all assigning this one. This itself will arrange the data points itself come together, and if it is of the same in a particular instance, the same attribute or same feature, they will make into a cluster. It is not needed for only two clusters. There will be more than 2, 3, 4, like that. They may be clustering together. Okay. So the algorithm used for the k-means algorithm. Anyway, the clustering part we are not considering. Only the regression and the classification we have to, which comes under the supervised learning, we have to see to that. Okay. Now, again, another one example I have given, examples of regression and classification problem. Now, what is the value of the house in Nagarkoil area? And other one is a given email message spam or not spam? So the first one, this is the example for what? Either regression or classification. This one. First one is whether this is the example for regression or classification. This is the example for the regression, because you are going to predict the house price in a particular locality. You are going to predict, right? So this is the example for regression, and this is this is the mails in your inbox. You are by a classifier, you are classifying it into whether if it is a spam, you are sending to the spam folder, and if it is a non-spam, it is sent to the inbox. So this is an example for the classifier. So this function, you are training your model to do this function, right? So this is a predicting model, and this is the classifier model you have. For this, you have to use a prediction model. For this one, you are use a classification. Okay. So till this time, we were talking about the data, and from the data, how the machine learning algorithms have been classified. All those things we have seen, right? So from the raw data, types of what are the things you have seen? We have the raw data and the parts of the data and the what are the types of the features and what are the labels and the type of the label that is labeled, and depending upon the type of the label, how you are classifying the machine learning algorithm. Till now, we have seen all these things. The next one is data pre-processing, right? So the data which for machine learning means data, right? So this data, what you are getting from this one is the sources of the data. I have told you the sources of the data may be from the business process, from the stock market, from the many instruments, so many from the rainfall, like that. So many data. So this data we cannot. The data pipelines which are used, the pipelines which are used for getting this data may not be always ideal. It is prone to so many errors, right? It may be erroneous. So there will be so many inconsistencies, there will be missing components, and there may be outliers in the data. Inconsistencies, what is the inconsistencies? There will not be any relation between the data, the two consecutive data, right? There will be a difference between the two, and in between some data will be missing, and there will be outliers. Outliers means it will be more deviated from the. If there are 100 data points, some 95 data points will be in the one range, but 5 data points it will be shooting up, it will be going out of range. It will be going out of range. So that is said to be the outlier. So to remove all this, the inconsistencies, missing components, and outliers, data pre-processing is to be is essential. It is a must, right? So that is one point. Second one is to normalize the features. So okay, what is mean by normalizing the feature? That is, you are using that is, you take the house price prediction problem itself. What are the features there? The label is the price of the house, and what are the features there? The area of the house. Area, it will be in square feet. It will be either 1000 or 1200 or 1500 or 2000. That is one feature of that one. The next feature will be number of bedrooms in the house, right? It will be 2, 3, like that, right? And you see the first feature, the value of the first feature, it ranges in thousands, whereas the value of the second feature, that is the number of bedrooms, the size of the house, it varies in thousands, whereas the number of bedrooms varies in 2, 3, like that, in single digit number, right? So there is a vast difference between the two features. We cannot use the same features like that into that of the machine learning. So before this, the features are inputted into that of the for machine learning algorithm, which has to be normalized. So this normalizing helps in getting better convergence in the training. That is, optimality will be reached easily. If the future values are very divergent, it will be very difficult to get to train. That is, it will take a lot of time to train the machine or train the model. Right, training the model, it will be very difficult. So we are going for the before entering into the before the data is entered into that of the machine learning algorithm, it has to be normalized. So for this, the data pre-processing has to be done. So this is first one is data gathering. That is in this one, in our steps. First one, gathering data. Second one, preparing the data. So we are in this point only, preparing the data. That is data pre-processing. So what are the methods adapted for pre-processing? So you will do either normalization or standardization. So for the two methods are there. One is the Z-score normalization. Second one is the min-max normalization, right? So first one, we'll see about this. The Z-score normalization is mainly used. So this is the formula for the Z-score normalization. You see for this one, so this is the data point which has to be normalized. So what you are doing means you are finding this for this features together you will have now. For that you are finding out the mean as well as the standard deviation, and this point has to be subtracted from the mean and divided by the standard deviation, right? And a new point, that is new value x dash is found out. So this x dash is will give the normalized value of this. Actually, this is the distance from that of the mean in terms of the standard deviation. Okay, new point x dash will be found. Similarly, so by doing this one, you can get the range from range of the feature values between +3 to -3, right? It will be present only in that range, +3 to -3. The next one is the min-max normalization. For that, you are taking the range, that is minimum value of the feature set and maximum value of this feature set, and you are finding out the range of that. And this is the original value minus the minimum value, and you are finding out the new point x. For this x, the new point x dash will be found out. And by this one, you can make the feature to get distributed between 0 and 1. For this, it is +3 to -3, and for this one, it is from 0 to 1. Okay, so this is the normalization or standardization of the data. I have told you what is the reason for normalization and standardization, right? Okay, so I was able to complete only the 2 topics. You have to give the attendance. So the next one, I will go for the next class. Okay. Now I will share the attendance for you. Please give the attendance here. Students, you have completed. So we have completed only these 2 steps, gathering data and the preparing the data. And we have actually 5 days class, right? So we'll go for choosing the model, training, evaluation, hyperparameter tuning, prediction, and the succeeding classes, right? But tomorrow's class, it is based on the neural network. This neural network will be taken by Helen Slochana, madam. Okay, so we also will have some training session by using the Google Colab, right? You can use the Google Colab for training. That is the Python. Google Colab Python for modeling, for this data pre-processing, modeling, training, etc. How it can be utilized. That will be also given us a small training. Also will be given for you. Actually, today I thought for some 30 to 40 minutes I have to take. Then I have to go for the training, but it is the full session I have utilized for the presentation. For the next class, I'll finish this one and go for the training session. Okay. Is there any queries for you? Any doubt you have? Do you have any doubt in this? Any queries has to be asked? No doubts here. Anyone? Evening, Golda? Are you present? Evening, Golda. Yes. Whether this session, or have you understood anything from this machine learning? Nobody is talking. Adeline, Renisha. No, don't. Nobody have queries on this one. With all are clear. Have you understood everything clearly? No doubts in this? Okay, students. Today I'll finish the class by this, and we'll have. I may be taking on Monday. Tomorrow's class it is on neural networks. It will be done by Hiren Sulochana ma'am, right? And either Monday or Tuesday again we'll meet again. Okay. Thank you, students.